Okay, today is gonna be a very interesting video because today we are gonna be comparing the GoPro Hero 9 Black and the GoPro Max versus the Insta360 1R Expert Edition, which is their 1-inch mod, and the 360 mod. We're gonna see which of these two is better. And today's video is actually a sponsored video. Insta360 asked me to make a video like this. No strings attached, I can say whatever I want, just make a video comparing this versus this. So that's a lot of confidence. We're gonna see if that confidence pays off today. Now, for full transparency on this whole comparison here, I have these four. I've got a few other action cameras. I use all sorts of action cameras in my daily life. I got a bunch to choose from. Usually I walk around with the 1R with the 360 mod and the GoPro Hero 9 in my bag. That's kind of my go-to setup. But for most people, I think that they look at the action camera market and they say, I would love to have action camera, one action camera. So if I was to purchase one action camera, what would it be? Today we're gonna talk about that. And if you like this video or it helps you guys out in some way, even if you just had a good time, you watch this whole video and you go, that was fun, hit that like button below. That's super helpful for me. Maybe think about subscribing if you're not already. We just crossed the 150,000 subscriber mark, which is kind of insane to me. It feels that's wow. Onto the comparison, the GoPro versus the Insta360 1R. We're gonna compare it on all sorts of different levels here, but the first one is price. That's kind of the most obvious. And on the GoPro world over here, the GoPro Hero 9 Black, you can now get for $400. I know they have that whole 1-year subscription thing that makes it $350, but then you're in the subscription. We'll just say $400 if you were just to buy the camera. And then also, if you wanna go buy the GoPro Max, it is also now $400. So to get the normal action camera over here plus a 360, $800. Now over here on the Insta360 world, you're now getting the 1-inch mod and 360 mod for $729. But because of the holidays, these two are now $594. So they're on sale right now as of this video. If you're watching this in December of 2020, this setup, the Expert Edition, is $594. So you get that 5.3K 1-inch mod and the 360 mod for $594, or these two cameras for $800. So at least in December, well, I guess at any time this is cheaper because it's $729, but for sure right now in December, $594. That's a steal. Now that does bring up kind of the weirdness between this comparison, and it is that the 1R Expert Edition is a modular setup, right? So I have this in the 1-inch edition right now, then I just pop off the battery, I take that mod out, I put this mod in there, I add the battery back in, and boom, ready to shoot 360 video. You're choosing 360 or that 5.3K at a given time, whereas over here you could theoretically shoot them both. I personally don't ever shoot a regular camera and a 360 camera at the same time. I just choose one. I say, hey, now I'm shooting this, and then I say, now I'm shooting this. But in theory, yes, over here you do have two distinct cameras. Over here, you really have one camera that has interchangeable lenses. And the pro with this is upgrades. When this first came out, it was just the 4K wide mod. So you had the 360 mod and the wide mod, and then they came out with the 1-inch mod. So I could take my got it. Woo! So I could take my existing camera, I could pop out what was a 4K mod, and instead of that now pop in a new mod. There's just a lot of upgradability over here. I've kind of always said that the 1R is an interchangeable lens action camera. So when it comes to the modularity over here, there's kind of no comparison in this. You get two cameras over here, you get one camera with interchangeable lenses over here. But let's jump to image quality because that's kind of where I think things get most interesting, and it's because of this 1-inch mod. This thing has a 1-inch sensor, the same size sensor that's in something like my RX100 or the ZV-1, the bigger cameras that are doing some incredible video. That size sensor is now in an action camera. Now the Hero 9 Black is incredible. I really love what this thing puts out video-wise, but with a 1-inch sensor, you're gonna get a more detailed image and you're gonna get way better low light performance. The biggest complaint of any of the GoPros ever that people hit me up about is they go, dude, this thing is trash in the dark. First off, duh, it's a tiny sensor. Small sensor usually means poor low light performance. So with a 1-inch sensor, with upgrading from the wide mod to the 1-inch sensor, the Insta360 has given their action camera big camera low light performance. Now you're still not gonna get low light results like you would on a bigger mirrorless camera or a larger DSLR, but in comparison to the action cameras that are out there, the 1-inch sensor does amazing in low light. So between these two, the 1-inch sensor takes the lead, and between these two, I've already made a video on that, and this guy is not impressive to me. I'm super bummed at the quality of the GoPro Max. The Insta360 1R is really good. It's kind of the benchmark now. It's kind of my standard for quality, and the GoPro Max did not live up to it. So quality-wise, image quality-wise, Insta360 Expert Edition also wins that category. Next, let's jump into the app experience because that's huge if you bring in 360. If you're just shooting these two cameras, I hardly ever run either of these two cameras through the app. If I film on the GoPro 9 or I film on the 1-inch edition, I pretty much just pop the SD cards out, pull them onto my computer, and I edit everything in Premiere. But where I really do a lot of work in app is the 360 mod on the 1R and the Max. Honestly, I have not used this camera very much because of the app experience. The app experience, not great. The image quality, less than optimal, mainly just because I have this guy. I have the 1R 360 mod, so when I'm running this as a 360 camera, the image quality is rad, but mainly the app experience is really, really smooth and makes it faster. If you guys have done any work in the 360 world, if you guys have worked with 360 cameras, you know that the editing experience, the post-processing experience of 360 footage is kind of the bottleneck. That's kind of the point where you struggle with 360 and you go, oh, I just want to shoot regular mode. And between the two, between GoPro and Insta360, it seems like Insta360 is doing a lot more work on those apps. They're doing a lot more updates. They have really frequent updates. They're always trying to come up with new features, new AI built into the app to speed up that process. And because of that, on the app experience, I also have to give it to Insta360. Next up, let's talk about the actual form factor and the touch screens mainly, because that's kind of the main way that you're gonna interface with these cameras. And this is probably the spot where I would say that GoPro takes the lead. GoPro has a massive rear screen with touch controls and that pretty large front screen. The front screen of the GoPro is almost as large as the Insta360. The Insta360 is a little larger, but it's close. The difference being that the GoPro's front screen doesn't have any sort of touch control. So when you are in a kind of a vlog mode, you can't change any of the functions. Whereas on the Insta360, if I am in that forward front screen mode, so the screen is in kind of a vlog setup like that. Now, even when I'm using this camera facing the lens like this, I can see the screen and I can touch and change things and control them. Whereas on the GoPro, if I'm looking at it like this and I want to change something, I have to flip the camera around, change my settings, and then go back to filming like this. So pros and cons on both sides, but in general, touchscreen, even the GoPro Max has a large touchscreen, really usable on here. And yeah, touchscreen I would say goes to GoPro. Is the 1R waterproof? That's one of the questions I get all the time. Because it's modular, people think like, oh, it's weird that it would be waterproof, right? Like that can't be waterproof, it's in 3 pieces. But when you put these pieces together, as soon as they click in together, it is now waterproof down to 5 meters or 15 feet. Just like the GoPro and the GoPro Max. Although, just so you know, the GoPro Max and the 360 mod, both waterproof, yes, they don't really work underwater unless you have them in a dive case. And it's because there's 2 lenses that it's stitching the world together, and underwater, because of how water refracts light, it doesn't stitch well, it doesn't work. So everything here is waterproof. You could surf with the 360 or surf with this 360, but if you dunk them underwater, not great. These two both work underwater perfectly. And then the last really thing that I could think of that that really affects your experience with these cameras is the accessories that go with them, and they're very compatible. All accessories, or most accessories, are cross-compatible because GoPro's got those two drop-down feet like that, and then the Insta360, when you put it in the cage that it comes with, it now has those GoPro feet also. So all of your normal mounts that maybe you've had for past GoPros still work on the Insta360 because of those two-pronged feet. Now, one thing that I do love about the Insta360, and I use it for both the Insta360 and the GoPros, is this thing. This is their invisible selfie stick. And can you see how little it is? I feel like the camera sometimes distorts how little. This thing is teeny tiny, but then you twist, 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 and then boom, and you've got a super long pole. So this is Insta360 invisible selfie stick, and I like it so much that I have one that's 4/4-20 like it comes, and then I took the prong, the GoPro adapter, and I put it on this one, and I JB welded it. So this thing cannot come off of this one. So now I have one stick that is 4 GoPro feet and one stick that's for 1/4-20. So if I put the Insta360 on this one, boom. If I put something else on this one, awesome. But then this can also come over here, and I can do the Max, or I could do the GoPro. It's my favorite pole ever. Again, just because it gets so small. If it didn't break down so small, then I wouldn't like it so much, but it's so small that I can toss this in my bag. I barely know it's in there. And then when I need a pole, I don't just have like oh, that's a nice little handle. It's like I got this huge, I'm like, oh yeah, look at that thing. Huh? So yeah, on the accessories world, pretty similar. The one thing that's probably more expensive on the GoPro world is the audio adapter or media mod, so that you can run an external microphone, where over here, the audio adapter is actually pretty cheap. Okay, so just as an overview, running through all of these things, which of these makes more sense if you're just looking to buy one action camera? Man, this is like making me choose which of my children are better. I like all these cameras for different reasons, except this one. I'm actually not a big fan of the GoPro Max. But again, if you were to make me choose, if you were to say you can really only take one camera with you on this trip, what are you gonna take? It's always gonna be this, because this shares the same battery also. So I only have to take one set of batteries. I can get 5 or 6 of the batteries for this, and boom, my 5.3K 1-inch sensor action camera and my 360 camera are charged and ready to rock. Whereas if I go on a trip with this guy, I've got to take Hero 9 plus the Hero Max, and I need to take the batteries for the Hero Max and the batteries for the Hero 9. You guys tell me what you think. Tell me what you think based on all of that. What if you were to buy one camera? You can only get one action camera, you can't have two. Which of these would you get? Again, $594 over here, $800 over here, better 360, better app, just as waterproof, a smaller screen, you have to choose whether it's forward facing or rear facing, and over here, $800, 2 different cameras with 2 different batteries, really good quality, not such good quality. Yeah, if it was me, if you were to ask my opinion, I'm gonna go over here all day long. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I am super curious to hear your thoughts. I know some of you have actually purchased GoPros, GoPro Maxes, and the Insta360 setups. I'm super curious to hear what you guys think. And yeah. Let me know. Maybe I'll just do a full video. I don't think I've done a full video on the Hero 9 versus the 1-inch edition. Maybe this deserves a full video to settle that debate of which of these two is really better. Let me know if you guys want to see that, and I'll see you guys soon. And then they came out with the 1-inch mod, so I could take my got it. Whoo!